Hey, Bowtie Nation, Joseph Hogue here with something we don't usually talk about, but some extremely important information because I feel like a lot of people out there want that day trading lifestyle, want the returns that come with it, but maybe aren't quite knowledgeable in what it really takes and how to be successful. So I'm excited to get Shay from The Humbled Trader here, YouTube channel, here for an interview. Going to talk about her experience, what it takes to be a day trader, some of the myths and misconceptions, and how to be successful. So Shay, thanks for joining us here.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, in person, bow tie. This is amazing. It's a dream come true for me.
Excellent. So let's get started because I am excited about this. Equity analyst background, long-term investor. I've never really dealt in that day trading industry or field, and I know there are so many misconceptions and so many people get blindsided by how it actually is to be a day trader. So take us through, how did you get started? What's your experience in this, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, so believe it or not, more than 10 years ago, I had a real job. I was in film and VFX in Los Angeles, and it's not a very stable career. So I have gaps in between where I have no job and couldn't pay rent. So that's how I looked into day trading. I started out with penny stocks, and I moved on to small caps, and now I'm doing more larger cap stocks. But the whole reason I started is just to make supplemental income, just so I can help pay rent. I never wanted to become full-time. So it was a part-time hustle for many, many years. Then it's about after 3.5 years that I quit my job to do it full-time.
That's amazing. And I think one of the misconceptions is you have to have experience in stocks and in the markets. It's great that somebody can get started. And I know you've been immensely successful. So anybody can get started. But I do want to talk about who maybe is not good for day trading, who should not be considering day trading, to kind of get into that.
Yeah, if you are not financially stable, I would say to start, I think most people shouldn't day trade. Okay. To be honest, excellent. Like more than 90% of people should not day trade. Let's say if you have a lot of debt, credit card debt, or you're living on the last $1,000 you have in your bank account, you should not day trade. Because day trading is not, let's just say day trading is the slowest way to make easy money. You're not gonna make money right away. In fact, I lost money for 2.5 years. So most people cannot do that. So yeah, if you want quick money, it's not for you. Day trading, I would consider it as a side hustle, but it takes time to slowly learn the ropes to really get to do it the right way.
Wow, and that honesty is so refreshing because I see so many channels on YouTube about day trading and trading in and out of stocks, and I think a lot of those people would say, no, hey, anybody can day trade, buy my course, or things like that. It is so refreshing to hear that honesty and from someone that you can trust on YouTube. So I will be putting some links to some of Shay's videos in the description to check that out. But what kind of personality types, mindset do you really need to be a successful day trader?
I think you need a high stress tolerance. Definitely. It's not easy to make $100 and be down $200 or $300. So you need a high tolerance. You can slowly build that, for sure. That's something you can slowly build up. But you also need to be able to have a long-term mindset. It's kind of ironic because day trading is short-term trading, but you need a long-term mindset because you need to be able to look at your trading and your performance over the course of 1,000 trades versus just the 10 trades you placed today. So the 10 trades that you lost money on will not make or break your career. But you have to look at it long term, think about, okay, I need to make sure I can survive the next 1,000 trades I want to take. So that means be able to cut losses, manage your risk today and tomorrow and the next week to make sure that you'll be here in the next year or the next 10 years.
Excellent, great. So long-term mindset, high risk tolerance, organized.
Yes, definitely.
Walk us through a day in the life of a day trader, because I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions is people think they can just get a couple stock picks on YouTube, buy it, go to work at the end of their day, sell it, and be a millionaire by, well, maybe not Tuesday, but Friday anyway, and be a millionaire for the weekend. So walk us through a typical day.
Yeah, so I would say most of the work in day trading happens outside the market hours. So that means being in the pre-market to read the news. I use scanners to pick up stocks, and I look at what's a catalyst, why these stocks are gapping up. I look at a lot of technicals such as volume, the daily charts, the insider ownership, the float. I do a lot of these research for, let's say, 10 stocks in the morning. Then I narrow it down to 5 that I'm gonna focus on to trade after the open. So I would say most of the work happens before 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. Then after that, you're just kind of confirming your thesis and getting in and getting out. So that's a misconception. Day traders don't actually sit there the whole day. Okay. You are mostly, or for most traders that I know, who trade my style, you're there during pre-market, you're there during the first 2 hours of the day, then you're pretty much done.
Okay, excellent. So, kind of the army of investors, right? More before 9 a.m. than most people do the rest of the whole day.
Yes.
Excellent. And you beat me to the punch on this. I was going to ask you kind of your setup. So you spend a couple hours or a few hours before the market opens to set everything up, and then another couple of hours. So it's still a good, 2, 3, 5 hour day.
Definitely.
For trading? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And if you're newer, then you should definitely spend more time. Mm-hmm. Now I'm a little bit more experienced. I spend about an hour to prepare. Okay. That's all I need now. But when I was new, I was waking up early, like at the crack of dawn, and preparing for 2-3 hours. And then also after close, I'll review all the charts. So it's before the open and after close that you need to prepare. And
so you have some of your favorite chart setups that you use regularly, consistently to look at some of these? Okay. Yes. I'm not going to ask you about that because I think it is so technical and so necessary that you really understand and you really go into detail, that it's not something that I want to get into here, because I think it would really be a disservice, to try to do a 5-minute explanation of how to day trade on the chart. I want to send you to a couple of videos to really get the full detail and make sure you're successful on that. But so how do you manage risk? Because I think that's one of the most important things is making sure you don't blow up your portfolio, blow up your wealth in the first day, and you don't get that chance to make money 3, 6 months, 3 years.
Yes. I would say risk management is the aspect that is the most important for trading, because you cannot really determine how much you'll make in trading, same as investing, right? But you can determine how much you lose. So that's the important part. So what I usually recommend people do, let's say you have a $10,000 account, you want to risk no more than 1 or 2% per trade.
Okay.
So even that's still aggressive, but let's just start with that. So that means, if you have a $10,000 account, you cannot risk more than $100 per trade. And most people starting with less, account size, $1,000, you cannot risk no more than $10.
$10. Okay.
$10.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's how much you're working with. So that means if a trade, you're risking $1 per trade, that means you can only take 10 shares. So that's the basic math that I do. As you can tell, you don't really need to do math, but you need to do the simple, what's the account size you have and what's the percentage risk you're allowed for each trade.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, so no more than maybe 1% of your total portfolio in each trade, and then you set your limits for, okay, how much can I lose out of this before I cut my losses, and as well as on the upside, right? Where at what point am I going to close this out? Do you close your trades out during the day, every single day, or do you do more swing trading or some swing trading and longer than 1 day periods?
Yeah, I do both. I have a day trading account and everything's closed out the same day. And I day trade maybe once or twice, sometimes 3 times a week, depending on the market. And swing trading, I always have positions and I'll hold them for anywhere from 2 weeks to 3 months.
Okay, I think that's so important. I'm glad you brought it up because I didn't even think about it, but having separate accounts for day trading, separate accounts for swing trading, so you really can track your progress in each and maybe get to a point where you say, okay, day trading, it's just not working out, but the swing trading account's doing well, so maybe a little bit longer than 1 day period, or vice versa, or looking at even some of the long-term investors holding their stocks for even longer. If that's not working out and you find you're just a better day trader or a better swing trader, really that idea of organization and management and tracking and understanding where's your best advantage as an investor. What about mistakes? What are some of the mistakes that you've made that you would want people to not make themselves?
Yeah, I think it's natural for newer traders going in thinking about, how much money do I need to make this amount? Let's say they want $1,000 per month. They'd ask me, how much money do I need to start to make that money? And that's the wrong mindset to start, because like I said, you are going to lose money in the beginning. Unless you have beginner's luck, but that's even worse. You are going to lose money. So it's better to think about at least the first 6 months to the first year as kind of like you're learning, you're going to college. So you're not gonna make money. So that's why you should risk no more than $10, $20 per trade, and think about, okay, instead of thinking about how much money I want to make, think about how much money am I allowed to pay as market tuition per month. because you're gonna lose money. Use that money to learn. So you don't wanna be sizing in too much and lose $1,000, $2,000 per trade in the very beginning. You are going to lose money, but you get to decide how much you want to lose and how much you wanna pay as market tuition to learn.
Again, I love the honesty, and I love that idea, market tuition, just the cost of learning.
Yes.
And that the idea that beginner's luck might be the worst thing to happen to day traders, because you think you're better than you are, you close your mind off to new learning, and you start upsizing your trades without actually learning anything. So I think that even taking some of those losses early on, if you have to, don't. It's great if you have that beginner's luck, but understand you do need to continuously learn and build that into your risk management. Let's make some enemies on YouTube. What are some of the worst? And you don't have to say other channels or names or anything.
Okay.
But what are some of the common myths and the worst advice you hear from day traders and other day trading channels to investors? Again, not calling out anybody, but what's some bad advice out there?
I think there's a lot of people doing signals, like trade signals, trade alerts for trading, day trading. And they say, if you join my whatever course, you follow these signals, that's all you need. And that's really not the way to day trade. I think you might have some beginner's luck in the beginning, like make some money from the signals. But long term, you don't really know how to trade for yourself. You're always gonna rely on that person to give you signals, and that's just the wrong way to start, because you never understand what that person's signals and that plan is. So you don't know how to enter, you don't know how to cut your losses, you don't know how to manage your risk or size into these trades. So it's much better to learn how to fish than to rely on someone else to give you the fish for like a day or two, in my opinion.
Absolutely, and we see that in longer term investing too. People getting stock ideas, want the best stocks to buy right now from every channel here on YouTube, and you never learn how to invest yourself. So such great information, and there's so much information, free information from Shay's channel, and the ways to learn, and you can invest while you learn, and not get sucked into those membership accounts where a lot of times that's the only money they're making, is off those members. They may not even be making much on their trading. So it's great to go with somebody that is an actual trading. Now, what everybody wants to know, what's a realistic return that people can make? Or, if they do have $1,000 or $10,000 to start their portfolio, start learning, what's a realistic return? Obviously, a longer term, a year, 2 years out, because like you said, I think a lot of people don't realize that, those first 3 months, 6 months, it could be a loss, and you have to stick with it. You have to learn, use that as market tuition. So what's a longer term, if you were day trading every day or a few days a week, what can people expect? Yeah,
I just want to say first 2-3 years, the return would be negative. That's just being honest, because it was negative for me. But longer term, actually, you get over the 3-year mark in which you start to be profitable. I think first year, like if you are, conservative, 10%, you can do that with a small day trading account. We're talking about, when I say small, I'm not saying $1,000 day trading account, because I think you need to be day trading with, at least $5,000. So when I say small, that's what I mean. $5,000, you can make like $500, I'm being realistic when you have a small account. But longer term, let's say after the 6-year mark, 7-year mark, I've seen traders who make 1,000 returns every year.
Excellent.
Very possible. Again, we're talking about after, I want to make sure it's realistic and I'm setting the right expectation. We're talking about after 6 years, 7 years, I've seen traders make 1,000% returns or more than that.
Wow, excellent. So that is, again, the honesty that, hey, 2.5 years negative returns, but then you can grow into a very successful trader. If someone watching wants to get started, wants to take the safest approach to avoid, not avoid those losses, but avoid blowing up their portfolio, how would you suggest they get started?
Yeah, start with a simulated trading account that has live market data. So that just means you're trading fake money, paper money. Trade it as if it's your real account. Set it to the balance that you're actually realistically gonna fund your account with. So let's say in 5 months, you're gonna fund with $3,000. Set your paper trading account to $3,000 and trade that consistently, at least for a month, to practice the ins and outs of the platforms or the strategies that you want to try out to make sure it's really something that you're comfortable with. And sure, after 3 months, put in your actual $3,000 real money. And again, risk 1%. So that means you're risking $30 maximum per trade.
Excellent, great advice. Humbled trader, I'll put some links to specific videos in the description. Are there any that come to mind that you think investors should start with on your channel? Some of the best videos on your channel?
Yeah, I have a video called How to Start Day Trading in 2025.
There you
Keeping
go.
it simple. Hey. Yeah, that's the one to start.
Okay, I will link to that and a couple others in the description. Shay, I want to thank you again. It's great to hear that honesty from you.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Joseph.
Thank you.